We're making a video about the Chadsey Condon neighborhood, trying to tell the stories of all the diverse residents in the neighborhood.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Well, it was first me and my sister, my father and my brother. We came like 3 months before they came, the rest of the family. And it was hectic. You know,
Nice.
you're here, you don't know who, and I was like 7 years old. So yeah, I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Who are these people? Why aren't they wearing scarves? You know, the oldest siblings were the unlucky ones because they didn't get to go to school or finish college. Like my dad was very sick at the time. He had heart problems, arthritis. So my oldest brother, which was, I don't know, he was 19, 20 at the time, he had to just let go of high school, let go of everything, and go to work. You know, our relatives would scare us saying Detroit it's known to be the crime city, whatever, and they steal houses, cars, don't go there. Now anybody that talks about Detroit or mentions it in their name in bad ways, she's always defending it. Yeah, she's saying in our religion that you must help your 7th neighbor. So all your 7 neighbors that are next to you better help them. And yeah, people go more than that. And they say if you sleep one night and your neighbor is hungry, that's like a big no-no. No. So yeah, we're always giving charity, giving food, whatever we have cans, we give to our neighbors.
Soup.
Holidays, stuff like that.
Neighbor, done.
And mostly the cutting of the grass. Frank, another Mexican across over there. He cuts our grass and then
This made
very kind.
1, 2, 3, 4 يعني قطع القليلة.
Yeah, I cut people's grass and then he comes and cuts our grass when we don't have, and just back and forth, looking out for one another. Especially this neighborhood, we've become very close. Yeah, she would run right up to them and ask who they are.
Welcome. مهما يكونوا مكسيكان عرب American أي.
She makes them family the first day.
I moved here in 1958.
I moved from Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama in December 1963 with my daughter.
I was living with my cousin that had been here for quite a few years. And my reason really for coming here was to go to nursing school. And I think it was called Tri-County Nursing Program. It didn't cost you. But what I found out later was you had to live in the city for over a year. So I never got to the nursing school. I got married instead.
One of my sisters moved up here, so I was so much in love with her that I decided I wanted to follow her. Everything she did, I wanted to do.
At the time when I was living there, though, our block club had like a welcome committee. And when you moved in, they would always come to visit. There was times they used to bring a cake.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to know that when I first came to Michigan, I did not like Michigan. I did not like it. I came here from Memphis, Tennessee when I was 15 years old. My father was a part of the automotive revolution, and he received a job at Chrysler. And he came a year before we did, and my mom would come back and forth. And so finally it was our time to move. My mother's sisters, they were already here, and so they went to church. They were attending a church here on this side of town, off of West Warren on McKinley. And so I started going to that church and became involved, went away to school, came back, started a resource center with the church. I've grown to love Detroit. I love the people in Detroit. I love the things that Detroit has to offer. One of the things that was hard for me to get used to coming from the South is people don't speak. In the South, people speak all the time. How are you? How's your day? Blah, blah, blah. In Michigan, you speak to someone, they kind of look at you like you're kind of strange. People treat you kind of how you treat them. If you're welcoming, if you have a welcoming spirit, people will treat you with a welcoming spirit. If you kind of standoffish or, you really not really sure about yourself, people kind of let you continue to be not sure. I've been welcomed in this community by quite a few folks.
We're kind of like an institution here, High Grade Deli. Our customers, our long-standing customers that have been through us through thick and thin, think of us as an institution. Lots of times people come in and they maybe they haven't been here for a while, and we get to talking, and then on their way out the door they'll say, "Don't change a thing." We're definitely welcome anybody. Because we have so many regulars, we can pretty much tell a new person when they come in the door, and what we try to do is treat them welcome them as a new person, turn them on to the food, turn them on to the ambiance that the deli presents as itself, and the fact that we've been here for such a long time. Don't matter color, religion, ethnic background. We want to please people, do business.
I came to Detroit for a better job opportunity for my husband. Throughout the years, I've grown to love Michigan because I've known a lot of people. I work with a lot of people in the community and the church. I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. My husband is a native of Guanajuato, Mexico, which is a very different culture. And as I started working and meeting more people in the community and getting more involved with those, a lot of people that actually cared and that wanted to make this Detroit a better place. So that's what I got involved with, and that's what I've been doing. People that I just meet, I'm very outgoing and like to introduce myself, and let's say I can offer them a free ride to the doctor or whatever. I can translate for them for free. Let's say if they're going to the doctor and they're having a baby or whatever. I've always offered my services because that's what I like to do.
Well, I immigrated to the United States in 1969. May 24, 1969. And when I came to the United States of America, it's just like new life for me. Which is, you came here, back then it was a lot of job. You can work, I work anywhere. I work in the ship, seaman, I work in Chrysler, I work in Ford, I work in so many different companies. Kennedy Airport is saying over there, says, welcome to the United States of America. And the people help me, I have saying that I didn't, me and other guy, it's two of us, we have saying, they give us saying from there, see, we didn't speak the language. So they carry us, they take us to the other plane, or for us in the other plane, we're coming to Detroit, Michigan. Then when we get to the airport in Detroit, we try to call a friend of mine to come pick us up. One guy is Caldanian guy from Iraq. He was at the airport, so he heard us talking Arabic. He was saying, "What are you guys doing?" And we told him we're trying to get to the airport. He said, "Do you get a number to call?" And then we give him a phone number. So he called our friend and he said, "These two guys want to come over to you, to the airport, but they don't know how to get there, what we can do for them." He says, "You know what, find them a taxi cab and send them over here, or, because I'm busy, I can't go pick them up, but, tell the taxi when he come here, I pay him." So the guy says, "I don't worry about it." He pick us up. He bring us always from the airport to the airport.
En el Negrito Lloro, Honduras, porque aquí tenía a mi hermano que era el que me iba a recibir. Pues un poco difícil, como todos, un mes de viaje y un poco difícil. Ahora que estamos acá también, pues a los mismos de aquí, nosotros mismos, pues ya tenemos empleados, también estamos pues ayudándoles de alguna forma u otra. Incluso tenemos 2 chefs que están saliendo de las escuelas y pues aquí lo estamos practicando. Pues sí, en esa parte también, nosotros muchas veces, una por ayudar a la gente de Honduras, porque pues antes ya ve, aquí no había ningún negocio, de comida que fuera de nosotros, muchas veces a uno se quiere comer lo que uno, y aunque uno lo sepa hacer, pero al trabajar para otro lugar uno llega cansado y quiere pues tener un lugar donde uno pueda pues comer lo de uno. Y pues mucha gente ha venido contenta, hace 6 años que no como pollo con tajada, cosas que es de Honduras. Y pues me siento contenta. Algunas veces pues hemos traído el consulado hondureño, algunos vienen de Ponia, de Ypsilanti, de los lugares pues cercanos acá, y pues que no sabían, y pues vienen y comen de esa comida y se sienten contentos, y al ellos estar contentos pues yo me siento bien, porque es una experiencia que tal vez yo la quería vivir pero pues no podía, y al tenerlo hoy pues me hace sentir bien.
Well, my family, they originated, my grandmother's side at least, they came from North Carolina. My grandfather's side, they came from Columbus, Ohio. They came to Detroit like everybody did in the 1930s. I mean, it was the Motor City. It was booming. Back when my grandmother and my grandfather moved up here, Detroit was the 4th largest city in terms of dense population. I've heard stories from people who worked here previously, talking about the community beforehand when they first started working here, when we first inherited this church. And they were talking about like how it was so strong and how everybody was so united. And as the generations further, we see that unfortunately it's not that way. So what we try to do is have a welcoming community here. Our doors are not only open to natives, but they're open to any race, any culture, anybody that wants to learn. Detroit can become more of a welcoming community if we just go by the following. If we look past negative stigmatisms that have not only plagued certain races and certain cultures, but certain communities as well.
I was born here in Detroit. Basically, I grew up throughout my life. A few times I did move away, but Detroit was always my home. There's a big population of Chippewa and Mohawk in Michigan. And there's Chippewa and Potawatomi also in Ontario, across the river. When outsiders come to the powwows, we don't look down on them or anything, or say, oh, what are they doing here, you know? We actually invite them, because if you actually go to a powwow, and you can hear the announcer says, intertribal. Intertribal means everyone's welcome. So you want to come dance with us. Come dance with the dancers. Everyone's welcome. You want to learn the ways of how to do beadwork, and we encourage others to come out.
Because Detroit is famous for the model city. In Mexico, is famous Detroit for the model city. I want to know Detroit. I have a family here.
Many people come here to taste like the Mexican food, and they also like come to learn like more about our culture and like more about Mexico, like the different events like the Cinco de Mayo, the Independence Day, all those kind of things.
Yeah, we try to speak Spanish too. Yeah, they come to practice Spanish, and we try to speak English with them.
I've been living in this area for maybe about 40 years. My family came from Gary, Indiana. We were Indian tribe, the Chatos. My mother came up here because her brother lived up here. It was like all Polish when we first moved over here. And it was only like a couple black African-American families. So it was me and my next door neighbor. And that was about it that I know. Everyone else was Polish. And then some of the Hispanics began to move in. So I met some Hispanic families, and we began to grow up and just all be family.
So Welcoming Michigan is a project of the Michigan Immigrant Rights Center. Our goal is to connect folks that were born in the U.S., grew up here, connecting them with immigrants and refugees that are moving into their neighborhoods. There's a lot of negativity around immigration, and we're really trying to change the conversation to a more positive tone, really focusing on what connects people to people, helping folks learn about each other and develop a greater understanding about where folks came from, what they have in common, and ultimately promote more understanding and respect between groups of people in the neighborhood. The You're Welcome Youth and Arts event was a great opportunity for Chadsey Condon's youth to connect with artists and musicians and performers to talk about how the message of welcoming and creating welcoming communities can be conveyed through the arts, through music, through performance, through storytelling.
My uncle and my father are the first to come, and then my grandmother came. And this is a very strong woman. She actually is a legend in the south end of Dearborn. It was very uncommon to be a divorcee, especially in the Middle Eastern community. And she just took charge and moved her family to Nicaragua. Nicaragua came to the United States, was one of the few women that owned her own home in the south end of Dearborn on her own. She was, very, very independent, very strong, very stubborn. Both my parents are very proud of their American, their Middle Eastern roots, and we were one of the very few Middle Eastern families on the block. It was just a really phenomenal neighborhood to grow up in because You know, and like in Chadsey Condon, people don't realize this is the most diverse part of the city of Detroit. When you think of all of Southwest Detroit, Chadsey Condon is the most diverse. That's where I can go door to door to door and find an African American family next to a white family, next to a Cuban family, a Dominican family, a Mexican American family. It is beautiful. It's gorgeous, and it's intertwined. It's not like segregated. It's completely. Just a melting pot of just all this ethnicity. You don't see that anywhere else in Southwest Detroit. People always think, oh, Mexican town. I said, oh no, the most diverse part of the Southwest Detroit community is the Chadsey Condon area. When you go into a school in Chadsey Condon, for example, you already have children from different backgrounds talking to each other, and that kind of gets the parents talking to each other. So the best example I have of kind of seeing welcoming initiatives already, organically kind of happening from the ground up is, the parent groups at the schools. Making sure, I've seen an African-American woman get up and say, how come nobody is translating this? What about her? She can't understand what you're saying. It makes you want to cry. Finally, in the state of Michigan, we have a Welcoming Michigan campaign. All these other states were already moving towards that direction, and I thought we were so behind, and we kind of are, but I'm so glad it's finally here. We have a Welcome Michigan mat that, again, is about having conversation with your neighbors, understanding them. We are one of the most segregated states in the country, and to finally have an initiative that is warm, it's inviting, it's fun. It's going to be tremendous to see that how it translates into some actions. One day I hope to come and see, a cleanup with an array of people just cleaning up their neighborhood, and just all the wonderful things that could happen because people now got to know each other.
The cleanup at Romanowski Park was a collaborative effort. It was one of the first times that folks really came together from all different backgrounds to help out and volunteer and clean up the park.
This park is in the middle of, in the heart of the area, and then it's surrounded by 2 schools. And lots of community members here, they don't go far away. So this is the only place they can go and have fun with their families. So we were happy just to create something safer for them, because whenever they have a park, they have people coming together, it's great safe environment for the whole neighborhood.
Because it's great to help people. It makes it a better park. Graffiti off the ground, making it clean.